Well, Putin the Cat is smarter than every single one of those alternative media analysts out there by far. And that's because the cat, unlike the human, he's Jewish. He really is, man. He's an honorary Israeli citizen, aren't you? Aren't you? You sure are. And by the way, I want to say something about that thing we talked about with Israel possibly striking Iran. That may or may not occur. I don't have a crystal ball. And the reason I say that is because many times when things are talked about a great deal, they don't occur. Is that not a fact? Like Netanyahu, if he was allowed to do exactly what he wanted to do, it may happen. That probably would happen, very likely. But there's a lot of other factors going on. So, but the problem with the budgets is still not going away. And that's the other major factor that is that will affect the price of gold and silver. But it looks like all the talk about striking Iran has been raising the oil prices up and keeping the oil prices up a little bit. You know, they're inching up. They're inching up. It's all speculation. But just like anything in any markets, a lot of it is speculation versus fundamentals. When we talk about gold, there being a gold shortage or anything like that, there is no gold shortage. There is no silver shortage. There could possibly be a palladium shortage. That may happen. But there is no gold or silver shortage. There's plenty of actual gold and silver on the earth. And if actually what blocks a lot of the mining of a lot of metals and precious metals and oil exploration and everything else out there is environmental regulations. In Alaska, there's trillions and trillions of dollars worth of gold. There's plenty of gold in California. Actually, if you look up public information on some of the old mines out there like Gold Dust 1, Gold Dust 2, and Gold Pan, it's owned by the Santiago family. It's been back for, I don't know, generations or many years or decades or whatever the hell it is. There's loads of gold. It's just that environmental regulations stop the mining of it. So, but that does not mean the metals may not go up astronomically in price. My contention is different from probably the major media and the alternative media. My contention is that there's going to be a super spike. In other words, a manipulation up. Right now, they talk about, you know, I pointed to a link about that I did on a video where there's manipulation in the oil markets and metals markets across the board, all the commodities. There is manipulation. They're not making money on the mines, right? You know, the mines aren't making money. Now, if silver was, say, copper was $4.50 a pound, and silver was, you know, $45 an ounce, they may be making tons of money. But my point is, they'll probably manipulate it up farther than you think, and there's going to be a gazillion cover stories out there at that time that the earth is going to be caving in. The dollar is going to go away into oblivion. The United States and the Western economies are going to fall. The Western elite are on the run. The same old BS. And you know who's going to be buying it at high prices? Idiots. Okay? Idiots. So, my point on you, I'm telling you straight scoop, it's probably going to take a while yet. I think we're going to have the mini spike in 2014. And we're going to have the super spike in 2017. That's my guesstimate on that. It seems to be every freaking 3 years. I mean, you put things in the most simplistic way, and sometimes it becomes a hell of a lot more clear. Now, the Treasury is also, the Obama administration is also talking about the $1 trillion platinum coin to be deposited in the Treasury again. But the Federal Reserve will not take it. But they're talking, see, they're worried about what's coming up here pretty soon, because now it's December, and they only got like a few months, and, you know, the debt ceiling hits again. Are they going to be allowed to raise it? Is the government going to shut down? What are they going to do? I think that's all going to be good for the metals. And if there's no Israeli strike on Iran, there's going to be a lot of talk about tensions or something that's going to come up. that may psychologically raise speculation on gold and silver and oil. It may. Then again, there may be a strike. A strike would be catastrophic for all those involved. Now, my other contention is, though, and this is one angle that I think Lindsey Williams is correct on, because not because he says it, but because I see it as makes pure common sense by the money angle, is that since a lot of oil is being produced domestically in the United States and Canada, and probably now in Australia, it's going to be coming on strong, a strike in the Middle East or any kind of conflict in the Middle East is going to cause the products that are being produced domestically to double in value, because the spot price on oil is actually determined globally by the Brent, which affects the WTI and all this type of stuff. You know, possibly the blockage of the pipeline, you know, from Canada to down to the United States is actually partly a plan to keep the oil prices up higher in some ways too. I don't know. It's actually causing a glut in the midsection of the country, but you know, there's a lot of different angles that are games that are being played, and all you have to do is look at the financial incentive, and you can see clearly what the hell the angle is. That's 99% of it. But as far as the United States falling and the dollar going to oblivion, that's going to be a story that's going to be out there a lot as metals, you know, go back up to maybe new heights and things like that. Don't buy into that garbage. Don't buy into that garbage at all. The United States is not going to fall. There may be another issuance of another currency, but the United States is not going to fall. The only way the United States is going to fall is if there was a military war and World War III came about someplace at some point in time and the United States fared poorly. Otherwise, the United States is not going to fall. There's going to be problems, I think, where there's going to be a lot more expenses involved with energy costs, but the energy is actually there. You know, it's actually the elite are raking you over the coals, and we do have a lot of different alternative forms of energy out there. And I think the only thing you can possibly do on a smaller level is to try to keep reminding people about industrial hemp, because that can actually, you know, without getting complicated with any kind of Tesla energy and all this type of stuff, or, you know, anything that's very scientific that you need a lot of different patents and knowledge to put together, and you have to be an expert. Hemp, just growing hemp and using the oil from hemp or the fuel from hemp, like Rudolph Diesel intended his engine to be run on hemp oil. We can actually, anybody can mass produce that, anybody can grow that, except that it's illegal. That would actually solve a lot of problems on the earth, including the greenhouse gases, alleged greenhouse gases, and all this type of stuff. But I do expect metals to super spike, and you know, they will be manipulated up just as much as they are being manipulated down. Janet Yellen is not going to do taper in any meaningful way, but they probably will do what I call a cosmetic taper. That was a question that was asked to me. They're going to actually, you know, when they're talking taper, they're going to have to do something like, yeah, we're trying to taper, and it may affect the markets. But her philosophy is actually more QE-ish than Ben Bernanke's. And so taper is not going to be in the cards. And actually, even when they do this cosmetic taper, it's going to affect the markets in a negative way. And they're going to go back to QE even more strongly than they did before. And they cannot raise interest rates. That's a no-go, period, because that would cause the governments basically to default, possibly, or if not, it's going to actually cause them to actually, if they raise interest rates, they'd have to even keep raising the debt ceiling even more to service the debt. That's not going to happen either. I mean, that's just glaring facts. Those are just glaring facts. But as far as the United States falling or running out of silver or running out of gold or running out of oil, that's BS. That's total BS. Even if we were running out of silver or oil, say that was a fact, there's always the thing called the principle of demand destruction. They find alternatives and they go to alternatives. And necessity is the mother of all invention. You raise the price high enough, there's so many engineers and PhDs out there and scientists, they will find ways not to use silver, not to use oil, and the demand will go down. But in the meantime, something can go like this, radically fast. And see, that's when you're going to see all these alternative people out there say, oh, the sky's falling, it's going to go up this high, it's going to go up this high, it's going to go up that high, it's never going to come down. It almost reminds me, well, I think this is what's going to happen with Bitcoins, but let's just keep watching Bitcoins carefully, because now that there's been over another 50-something cryptocurrencies that came out since, during 2013, there's a lot of competition for Bitcoins. You know, there's a lot of competition for Bitcoins now that's coming out. So maybe the demand for Bitcoins may decrease because you got all these different currencies. So, you know, I never seen, nothing go up that fast. But you might see the metals do something like this too. And just beware of the super spike. I'm never going to be able to, my biggest fear is that I'm going to sell below the spike and I'll miss the top. That's what I think. Because I'll think, how could it go higher? It's impossible. How could it possibly go higher? And it may. Silver, when silver went over $100 an ounce, that is very high. That's being manipulated up. It's not even just because of the inflation or the dollar losing value or whatever. That is being manipulated up. And I should also add, people talk about the dollar going down. Actually, the Chinese are actually demanding dollars, and even though they're saying in the news they're not demanding dollars, they're demanding dollars for projects. Some things are recovering in the world. Some things are recovering in the world, even though some things aren't. In Europe, it doesn't look too good, but it looks like China's still doing pretty good. They actually are demanding dollars for some projects in private concerns. Also, Russia, they talk about, you hear in the alternative media all the time, like Russia's saying, oh yeah, we don't want, they're looking to establish themselves as, the kingpin of the world. But, Kerry actually made a lot of agreements with Russia recently and smoothed things out, and actually unfroze a lot of their assets that were in dollars. So on the alternative media, you're hearing one thing about all Russians should not be allowed to use dollars, but then again, the U.S. has made, you see what I'm saying? The alternative media is full of it. There's like some grains of truth to it, but they're full of it. They're a very good measure to determine when to buy and when to sell. Right now, they're shutting up about silver, except me. But I'm not really alternative media. I'm telling you, stick with it because it's actually going to play out very well. And to have silver go down to 10 or 15 bucks or something like that, I don't know if it's going to do that. I don't know about that stuff because it's already been down a lot and it's already been reset. If we actually look back historically, when it went down to 8, that used to be the height. When it went from like 22 to 8, that was the height. Then I expected, solidly below 26, possibly maybe to 22. I didn't expect 18, no way. I expected it to hit the height, but then to lose another 50% of its value to go down to $10, you may be missing the boat. You may be missing the boat. But like I said, this is something you don't put all your money into. You do some. You do some. And you hold on patiently. That's all. You hold on patiently. And the alternative media is going to be a good guide as to tell you when it's going to sell. Like I remember I put out a video about, silver at 22, watch for amplified BS. That was one of my videos. And I got a lot of crap about it. Why shouldn't it go? I said maybe it's going to be a lot of... Look, it's, that's what I figured. It's going to sit flat a little while. But when it takes off, it's going to surprise the hell out of you. And they're going to be telling you, the United States is going to fall. Silver's running out on the earth. That's not true. That's not true. I mean, if the United States, 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 if the United States is going to fall. I mean, if New York City got blown up by a nuclear weapon and DC got blown up by a nuclear weapon in LA and Chicago, then I think the United States is going to fall. But, you know, just under normal circumstances, it's not going to fall. There's plenty of silver and gold and oil out there. But that does not mean these metals will not super spike. They will. They will super spike. And we can thank the alternative media for that partly, but I'm not exactly the alternative media. I'm telling you straight scoop here all the way. So don't be afraid of it. You know, nibble here a little bit, and whatever the hell it is, and nibble there a little bit, and hang on to your reserves, and keep, you know, don't worry about it. It will play out. You know, there's nothing you're going to put your money in that's going to get, like, you know, except, well, Bitcoin maybe go to zero for all I know, but, you know, right now, that's, I mean, I wish I bought that, you know, to tell you the truth. You know, I didn't know what the hell it was going to do, but that's probably what's going to happen with some other things, too, later on, that you're probably holding right now inside as far as physical metals. You know, there was a lot of, I never said that Bitcoins was a bad idea. It's just that the only thing I'm talking about with Bitcoins now is that I think it's getting dangerous. There's a lot of competition out there, so just, you know, beware of this, because, you know, I don't like seeing the average Joe get burned, and 90% of the time it's the average Joe, it's the middle class that gets burned by all these people telling them all this garbage, which are salespeople. I am not selling you nothing. I'm just giving you straight scoop. I don't sell any bullion. I don't work for anybody that sells bullion or nothing like that. I always liked the idea of bullion. I've always had stuff like that since the 90s. I know about the principles with the Federal Reserve, sound money. I've known about that since the 80s. I know all these freaking conspiracy theories that seem to be brand new today. I've known all about that. That does not mean the United States is going to fall and at the end of the world is going to come about and all this other bullshit. So, but just remember, they can manipulate the commodities up too. And boy, there's going to be a gazillion stories out there how the sky is falling when they're manipulating the commodities up. How high is high? I don't know. I'm going to, hopefully my cat will tell me through his mental telepathy or whatever the hell he's got out there with his ears and stuff. He might let me know. You know, if you go this way, I mean, it's a fact though. I think one time, I think it was a joke. They put it in, I don't know, it was in London. They took a cat and he beat every single stock market trader out there by, I forgot what it was. It was like a board he used to go around on and stop on or something. I forgot how they picked the stocks. And they had the cat pick the stocks, and he beat everybody. He beat everybody. That's a fact. I forgot what that damn story was. I should have freaking I should have filed that away. But I remember that. I remember that because it tells you all these experts are so full of shit. They really are. But that's why I just want to stick with common sense. Common sense. There's been every 3 years, it looks like the metals go up. And when they go up, they don't go like this. They go, and it goes, right? It's like a fast rise and a reset. Fast rise and a reset. And they don't like go up steady for like, you know, they don't go like down slow and hit a low in a year and a half, then go up nice and steady. They go wham. Then they go flat for a long period of time. Then they take off like crazy. You know, and the one thing actually to watch very carefully, again, I should repeat this because I said this in many other videos too, is the gold-silver ratio. It got down to about 31 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold back when we had the height of, in April of 2011. And this next time, it may break through the 30 to 1. Eventually, it may go to 10 to 15 to 1. That's going to tell you the real, that's going to give you a better estimate of when to sell. But, you know, I wish I would know the exact peak of something. Boy, if you knew the exact peak of anything, you'd be loaded beyond George Soros, that's for sure. Because even he don't know the exact peak of anything. Even the best of the best don't know. So, just hang on with your investment. Obama's talking about and thinking about the $1 trillion platinum coin. I would like to sell him that $1 trillion platinum coin for maybe, you know, $1 billion. How's that? That'd be all right. Hey, I'll even throw in 2 for 1. How's that? 2 for 1 for $1 billion. You know, if he wants to let's make a deal. That'd be fine with me.